Belgium, live from the Skull Bunker Casino in Tinley Park. Got a special episode. You can tell that the cameras look a little bit better this time, hopefully. Shooting this live in Nick's basement, so shout out to Nick, our videographer today. We have two guests, one of whom you hopefully remember if you're a long-time devoted watcher. We got Nick Dobb 11 over there.
Oh, yeah, what up?
And we got Joe Scott, our buddy from high school.
How's it going?
Ukrainian war expert over there. And to my left, as always, we got Richie.
Anti-communist, counter-revolutionary, bit of a musketeer, I'd say.
Exactly. Today we're going to be talking mostly about politics. Wanted to get this one out. It's a St. Patrick's Day special. Got some drinks going. We're going to be doing a lot about, the first month or so of Trump's presidency. Anything you want to open up with, Richie? How do you think the first month has gone so far?
I think pretty solid. A little bit of, I'm not a full-on 100%. Everything he does is great. There's a few things that a little bit cautious about, as far as supporting. But for the most part, I think he's doing a good job. I think he's doing what he said he was going to do, and what he got voted to do. So I'd give him like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I actually do think that so far his presidency this time around is much better than his first one, as far as just his efficiency and the things that he's focusing on. But
Nick, did had something you wanted to throw in there?
Facts.
All right, Joe.
I agree.
Any opening statements?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's definitely a lot more occurring in this election. I already saw. Sorry, during this presidency than the last one. It seems like he's sort of doing a lot of things that might get, what do you say, rescinded or whatnot. But he's sort of going for like a mass way, like approach. He's just throwing everything out there, and then some of it's gonna stick.
The grievances, little Festivus episode for anyone, and World War III/Ukraine. But one of the first things I'll start off with here is I kind of have an issue with the fact that it's kind of shock and awe politics. It's throw, kind of what Joe was saying, throw a bunch of stuff out there, see what sticks sort of deal, right? And politics is supposed to be pretty boring. It's supposed to be procedural. It's supposed to be, within the confines of what you're allowed to do, you have to kind of stick to it. Right now, we're seeing Trump saying, you know what, let's see whatever the fuck I can get away with, I'm going to try and get away with it. And I don't think that's a good direction for things to head in.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a good direction for things to head in. It is like the whole point of the Constitution and checks and balances to prevent against that. But I would say that's not unique to this Trump presidency, I don't think. I think that this executive orders and kind of overriding the constitutional process and all, going through Congress and Supreme Court and everything. This has been happening every presidency, at least since Obama, probably before that too. So I wouldn't say that's, to at least some degree, and Trump, abuses it as everyone else has. So it's not really a partisan thing, I wouldn't say on that. That's just kind of like the fragility of the system almost, where it's like so easy to override.
I mean, I can't really remember, Biden doing anything. It's like, oh, it clearly says in the Constitution here, this is not allowed, but then we have an executive order do it.
Did you have to get the vaccine by force from your job or you get fired?
I did not.
I did.
Did Biden mandate that?
Yeah, that was Biden mandate was that, and the thing was, it was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court 3 months later after everyone has already been, had to do it. I don't know if it was every business in the United States.
It just happened to me. It happened to me.
We're federal contractors, so we were doing work for the federal government, so we had to. But yeah, I mean that was one, and there's a lot of them that were kind of, a lot of them are stuff that we don't really see on our level, where it's not like Trump's changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico, stuff like that, where it's it kind of gets attention, but a lot of the other ones with Biden were okay, yeah, here, we're just going to send more money to Ukraine, or we're going to do all these things that aren't really, visible to the average person who's just going about their day.
Headlines, so not attention grab.
Right, yeah.
So what's like the point of doing Gulf of America though?
That one, I mean, I don't know. I mean, any takes on that one? I think I thought it was kind of just like a meme or like a joke.
Should we be the president?
But I think people love it.
I got a theory. I think Trump, in terms of the pushing he's doing on Canada, the Gulf of America, he's kind of aligning himself with Putin with this like risk board. We're gonna change names, territories, kind of thing. It's a little sus. It's a little sus.
Well, so interestingly enough, Richie has claimed that Trump is in no way connected to Russia, has never been connected to Russia. That's like whatever. You can have your own opinion on that. I saw a video the other day talking about this was directly after the Zelensky and Trump debacle that happened just a couple days ago. I don't know how long that'll be until this podcast comes out. But basically it's saying Trump is kind of breaking away from Europe a little bit. He's saying like, maybe like these guys aren't the strongest allies, right? He's kind of aligning himself more with Russia and China, like spheres of influence, right? Trump thinks, all right, North America is my sphere of influence. I can name this whatever I want, right? I should have the Panama Canal. I should have Greenland. Like, this is my area, right? Like, China and Russia, like, you guys can do whatever you want. That's, like, your sphere of influence, right? So I think it might be a shift more towards, like, like, honestly, like, authoritarianism, like, a shift towards, like, power players just kind of starting to chew up zones of influence.
I mean, part of that is just the transition away from the post-World War II era, is what it is. Because after World War II, it was sort of the agreement, like, NATO, we established NATO before? Okay. So it's basically, NATO is essentially the Allied powers, right? So basically the deal with Europe was that we would give them our security, we would provide them security. Like, we'll be the ones who are paying for the military and whatnot. We have this NATO, you can all be in it, we'll provide your defense, and then you guys can worry about rebuilding and whatnot, doing whatever. And now it's 80 years since then. And,
like what have you done for me lately, sort of deal?
It might be time to readjust. So there's something like that.
Would you say that it, because his policy does seem to align more with Putin's, like you just said, Putin's kind of at least kind of mentality, or just like his style of leadership. And after the meeting with Zelensky, it's obviously he's not siding with Ukraine. I mean, according to him, he's not siding with either, and he's trying to be a mediator. Mm-hmm. Would you say it's almost, and I might have brought this up before on one of our episodes, but because right now it's kind of a weird time where the so-called conservatives are saying, let's destroy all of this and burn it down and rebuild it new, while the so-called liberals are saying, no, we need to conserve the establishment as it is. And it's almost like you kind of need a different word to describe them now, because that's not really what the left and the right are in the United States anymore. And I would say what it's more seeming like, and it makes more sense as to why Trump would align then more with Putin in this sense, is that it's nationalism versus globalism.
Yeah.
Whereas Trump represents the nationalist wing, where the United States we're the ones who are going to set our own policy. Like, we're going to name that Gulf whatever the hell we want to name it. That type of thing, where it's like the EU and probably like the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden wing of
represents the globalist faction.
The globalist faction, which is why we side with Ukraine, because Ukraine is part of our kind of EU global government.
Right.
Whereas the Trump faction is more like, no, we don't want this global government. We want our government. Because like a lot of these, like the UN. Originally it was like designed as like treaties. It's not really supposed to be like a government. It's supposed to be like, it's like this is like a platform for governments to communicate and make agreements and stuff like that. Whereas it's more and more of these international organizations keep building. You got like the World Bank and the IMF and all these things, and it's basically becoming like it's kind of like becoming a top-down rule maker rather than just like a mediator.
Yeah. Globalism versus nationalism, we talked about this, kind of want to talk about that a little bit. I'm down to go into that a little bit right now. Speaking from the globalist standpoint, I don't know if we can really afford to be on the nationalist side of this, essentially. If we pull back and we say, no, we're just going to worry about ourselves. And meanwhile, China's like, oh, all right, if the U.S. is stepping back, we will be Big Brother now. we'll be the ones who are providing like support for the EU. Like we'll step in, we'll give you $200 billion. We shit that out every couple months, right? Like I don't know if the U.S. can really like afford to take a step back from the global agenda, essentially.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree on that, and that's the thing is that
I don't know if globalism or nationalism is better, right? Like a global governance, that sounds pretty scary, right?
Mhm.
That like I think there should be different areas, like nation states, right? And we talked about this, like nation states could potentially like be on the downward trend.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is whether one's better than the other, it could. I can see your point there. It could kind of go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it kind of. I mean, from the global. I think living here in America, because if the globalist, I guess I don't know how to describe it. If the globalist thought process, the globalist plan came to fruition, it would be like America would be dominating the world. Like it would be globalism, but with America in charge. Right. Based on based on we're most dominant currently. So globalism advances, then we're. So, like, for us, it would be good.
Yeah.
But for other countries.
Well, yeah. Then the China, a rising China is also, a threat to the hegemony of the United States as well. But the thing that's bad, I think, about the globalism aspect is that our elected officials or our elected representatives, politicians, in a globalist system, they're no longer accountable to the people that elect them. Whereas, if we have this system where we're using all these international organizations to basically form these global policies, someone like a Kamala Harris or a Joe Biden, if they were in office, they would not be accountable to the wishes of their own people at home. They would be accountable to the wishes of these global organizations. Whereas the nationalist view, it's like a lot of these things that Trump is doing are the world is mad about, and he's acting on behalf of the domestic population that voted him in. Whereas we've gotten used to presidents in the recent past here not really being accountable to their voters, more accountable to these global systems. But at the same time, do we really have a choice? It's not really like we have a choice. Oh, let's just choose to be next. It's like someone's going to take it over.
It's a global economy.
It's a global economy.
Like we can't just be separated from everything, like buying and selling our products ourselves. Like that's just not doable. Essentially,
it's not doable.
Back to 1910.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. If we want to stay, as powerful on the global stage as we are, it's like that's how we became so powerful, was having a kind of a finger on the scale of everyone else's stuff and kind of messing around in all these other countries. And you're right though, that China is. I mean, they're already investing tons of money. They've got this Belt and Road initiative. They're investing tons of money into infrastructure in like Africa and South America and basically all over the world, trying just waiting for the moment where this happens, where we step back and they take it. That's already kind of happening right now. We're kind of watching it go down.
Yeah. I have a few things in my notes. A little airing of the grievances time. How many got? I got like 23 on here, so I guess we'll just
give it to us.
I guess let's just start from the top.
That's a lot of grief. That's a lot of grief.
A lot of grief here. All right. First one, ending birthright citizenship. It has been brought up. That is literally enshrined in our Constitution, and I can't really think of like a good counter argument as to why that shouldn't be. I mean, right, there's like anchor babies people will bring up, right? Like oh, this isn't the way the system was meant to be, like, set up. But most countries have some sort of birthright citizenship set up, right? And it's pretty established that if you're born here, you are a citizen here.
Yeah, and there should be some type of security against having like anchor babies where someone just comes over the border just to have a kid on United States land, so that way they'd be a citizen, and that just incentivizes people to come over illegally, knowing that they'll probably get sent back. But if they can just have a kid here, then they're good. There should be some type of security measures to take account of that potentially. Like I would be all right with that, but I mean, I didn't really see much about what is actually being implemented, but if the plan is to just end birthright citizenship altogether, that's kind of just that's taking out the fly with a rocket launcher.
Well, and here's again my biggest grievance. I already said shock and all politics. At this point, you don't know what they actually want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say 1,000 fucking things, and like maybe a couple of them will actually happen. So it just seems like they're trying to like
a smoke screen.
it's a smoke screen. They're trying to like throw so much at you so that you're distracted with all this other shit, so that they can secretly do the things they actually want to do.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
And I kind of like that as a strategy. Like if I'm Trump, like it's kind of a smart strategy because you've got like a
Smart strategy for Trump.
hostile
Fucks over everyone else.
Well, no, I mean you got a hostile media establishment who's going to try to latch on to all these type of things, and so like in his first term, it was like it was constantly being everything that they were trying to do was constantly being obstructed by like Russian collusion hoaxes and impeachments over nonsense. Whereas now it's like kind of it is 100% a smokescreen, but it's kind of a good strategy for them. Because they could just throw out that might have been what the Gulf of America kind of was. It was like let's get everyone talking about this so that we can turn around and start cutting all the federal spending over here and start doing all these things.
It's also kind of like a sales tactic. Like you ask for something way bigger than you actually want, and then they say no. So you go to what you originally wanted, and they're like, well, in comparison to that doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, it makes sense.
They're more likely to
The art of the deal.
deal.
So here's the question I have: do you know if we have tariffs set up right?
We do have, so they're supposedly on pause for Mexico and Canada, that they're supposed to resume end of the month or something if negotiations aren't met. I believe there is a 10% tariff on China, and you talked about raising that recently, sometime earlier this week.
We got a live fact check.
Yeah, we want to pull up Jordan to get exactly. But
He's like, day one, we're implementing, and whatever he said, 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
Effective March 4th. Looks like we got 2 days.
Yes.
2 days.
And then they'll get pushed back, probably. Like that's an issue, is people should know what their government is doing.
Yeah, I mean it is a problem too, just in business, where it's like, so a lot of construction projects, it's like, okay, we need to price the job before we build it, and so it's like, okay, but it's going to take 1.5 years, 2 years to build this thing, so I need a price for steel, but I need the price now so I can submit it, but I'm not going to need the steel until March of next year, and they're like, well, I mean it's a real shot in the dark here because we don't know what the hell the tariffs are going to be in next month, let alone next year. So the prices fluctuate pretty rapidly as well. So that is potentially a problem. But I mean, what do you think about the tariffs overall? Say we just eventually they arrive at a solution of 10%, 20% tariffs on imports.
It's a good one. So we had a in-depth conversation over text about this, and we were looking up on ChatGPT, to find out what exactly tariffs actually entail, what they actually do. So the first thing, why are they doing tariffs? Richie brought this point up. Most likely it's because of our trade deficit, right? For decades now, we've been running a trade deficit. Not a good thing for a country. You want to produce more than you take in, right?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
You just want to, like, the idea globally, like the way the system's set up, I believe, is so that it should be, at the end of the day, it should balance. Like,
right.
It should be about the same. And then, if you trade at a deficit, it's like, okay, and the idea being that, okay, if we, and this was on the gold standard, I learned about this recently, it's kind of interesting. The idea was when there was a finite amount of gold these countries were trading around, it would be that, so if this country trades at a deficit, they're going to have to pay their gold to cover their deficit to the other country. So that country exported more. Now they get more gold, and the other country has less gold. So what should happen is, because they have less gold in their system, they should be able to produce cheaper, and then the country who got more gold should now become more expensive to produce in, and then that way it'll kind of act as a lever to push the gold back, because now we can export more because it's cheaper to export. So now we'll kind of push the gold back. That was the we could just keep trading at a deficit every year and just printing the money to cover it, and there's no mechanism now to fix it. There's no mechanism to put it back.
Right. So we're on a trade deficit. The idea of tariffs is you raise the price of goods coming into your country to try and incentivize the White House official page. One of them is
That
ASMR deportation of immigrants. That's a real thing posted.
All right, so what? All right,
It's a video of like ICE or something, like slapping
like handcuffs and
some cuffs on like they're like illegal immigrants or whatever, and the caption is ASMR deportation of immigrants.
okay, that's pretty insane. That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. But I don't know. I saw that and I don't know. I thought there was. I was honestly I mean originally I was disgusted when I saw that, but then I was a little relieved because I was like, okay, this finally we have like an administration in here that understands that social media and that sentiment on social media and sentiment in real life are completely separate, and so these guys should be allowed to post whatever they want and get their 200,000 likes on Twitter and whatnot, and it doesn't have any.
people don't know that though. Like average dumbass people who see that are gonna be enraged.
I don't think
they don't understand that it's.
I don't think the Biden administration. I think the Biden administration thought that social media likes and social media translated to like support.
Yeah.
Which is like.
Yeah. That's
Okay, that was a major flaw that they had for sure.
Yeah.
But so you think it's like perfectly fine that they're posting this?
I mean, it's not. No. But but this is not like. I don't know. I guess you shouldn't be surprised that this is what they're posting.
I was disgusted. I wasn't that surprised. Again, this is what people voted.
Yeah, it is
Right?
Yeah.
Like
It is, yeah.
It's pretty bad. I got it on the screen here. You'll be able to see it, but yeah, it's pretty weird.
Oh yeah, and I mean, any sort of like AI video is just weird.
Well, all right. So yeah, the next one was going to be the White House posted the Trump and Netanyahu like plans for Gaza AI.
They're gonna put like hotels in Gaza, make it a.
Yeah, it's like Trump and Bibi Netanyahu like sipping martinis by the pool or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, I mean that type of thing is that's one of the things I can agree with, where it's kind of like, all right, that would have been funny in the campaign, on the campaign trail. Yeah. That's like a good attention grabber. But it's like, all right, now you're in, man. Like you're there already. Like, what are you doing now? You're kind of like it's the thing. I always really like Trump during campaigns, and I start to like him a little bit less when he's in office, because when he's in the campaign and he's throwing punches at the system and doing obnoxious things like that, it's satisfying to see, because it's like okay, everyone else is this like kind of like buttoned up robot NPC up there repeating the lines they're given, and Trump's out there doing shit like this. But then once he's in, it's not nearly as effective anymore, because it's like, okay, you got him, you won, and now it's like, all right, now get back to business, dude. Like, like, what are we doing now?
Plus, now you actually have the power.
Right? Yeah. You're the one. Now you're punching down, right?
It was funny when you're just messing around when you actually couldn't do anything, but now that you could, it's like.
All right, and here's the last social media. Actually, there might be one more. Maybe the last social media post I'll bring up might be another one. From the White House Facebook page again, it says, "Congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king." And it's a picture of Trump wearing a crown.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I don't know if anyone else knows this. We fought a revolution to, overthrow monarchies. This is basically everything the United States stands against, and this is the White House official page posting this.
It's true.
I mean, how do you frame this in any other way than this man wants to be king?
I mean, I could see it as kind of a sarcastic comeback to all the people who keep saying he's gonna be a dictator. Like, oh yeah, kind of just like a
satire.
Yeah, satire.
You know what makes him not look like a Nazi is doing Nazi salutes.
Yeah,
that's your argument essentially. It's like, oh, they keep calling him Nazi, so when they do a Nazi salute, they're actually trolling the people calling him Nazis.
Right, because I think that the people who are calling them Nazis are more ridiculous than way more ridiculous than the Nazi salute. Like, for that case, it's like, okay, the media has called him a Nazi for the last 8 months, and then it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, now here we are, like Dob just said, now they're in power and we're doing all of the opposite of the things that the Nazis would do, but they're still calling us Nazis. So like, let's which was it's like, okay, yeah, they keep calling me Nazi, but what was it about the Nazis that was so bad to begin with? Why is that an insult to call someone a Nazi? I thought that the reason that the Nazis were bad was because of the genocide and all the world war and all the wars that they started. I didn't think that it was because of their fashion sense and their hand gestures that they were so bad.
Yeah, but you can't harken back to these like symbols.
Right. No, and if
They wore huge.
All right. So,
by the way, they have really nice suits.
But I guess my point is that it's easy to just say like, okay, so like Hitler had a dog, and okay, wait a minute, that guy also has a dog, just like Hitler did.
false equivalence.
But they do that. But they do that to him all the time. All
All right. So the Elon.
How about the Madison? Hang on. So sorry. Last one. How about the Madison Square Garden, where every single mainstream media outlet said, "Look at Trump. He's having a rally in Madison Square Garden." That's exactly where Hitler had a rally one time.
That one was ridiculous.
Shit like that.
It's pretty offensive to Jewish people too.
Yeah.
To call him Hitler.
All right, so the Elon Musk one, I don't know. That dude, that might have been autism. Here's Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon's kind of an idiot.
Here's Steve Bannon literally doing it at CPAC like 3 weeks later.
Intentionally?
Well, you decide for yourself. Yeah. That seems pretty goddamn intentional to me.
Steve, does that seem like a wave though? Like
That's the thing.
Hey, over there. Yeah.
But it could be. It's so like that type of thing is so. That's one of those shiny objects. That's like, all right, yeah, let's all talk about this hand gesture that these guys are doing. But it's like, all right, let's look at the policies that they're actually implementing. Is there anything that they're doing that would be remotely close to something that like would resemble any form of like Nazism or fascism that as they've been being accused of for the last
possibly the deportations, but that they're not killing anybody.
Yeah, I mean the deportation would probably be the closest one that I could think of, but even that it's not that they're acting out of authoritarian stances. Yeah, like they're trying to cut back on illegal immigration. Deportations I think are more extreme than my political alignment would do. Like it wouldn't be my first thing if I were in office. Like, oh, let's cut down on immigration and start deporting people. But it is what he said he was going to do, so he's doing that. But I mean, when it comes to
I think the first thing you do in fascism is find a common enemy, usually a minority.
Okay, but
blame it on them.
But I would say that the left is fascist then, because for the last 12 years they've rallied around no causes or policies. They've rallied around a common enemy, which was Donald Trump.
Yeah, but that's like a call from within sort of deal. I don't know. That's not like a group of people. That's like a dude.
Yeah, but it's him and his supporters, MAGA Republicans.
Yeah. I mean, with the Nazis specifically, it was like an oppressed, what do you call it? Like a minority group of people they were talking about, not like a voting population. So
48%,
40%, or like one man.
Yeah,
and it's just, and I think people call him Hitler, but it's because it's just like the best example. But yeah, I mean, they're saying that it's sort of like fascist tendencies, where it's like I don't fully know, but it's like the union of governments with like private industries of sort of like communism, but not, but like in a different way,
Yeah.
Well, there's also this weird thing on like the ideological spectrum where it's like you go so far right, you end up going left. Essentially, it's like
I mean, I feel like we've kind of gotten there where the right is more left than the left, and the left is more right than the right. Yeah, honestly.
Wherein like one of the things you hear about fascism, it's like corporatization, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's just private industry taking over like government systems. Essentially, in a communist system, it's almost the same. It's government systems taking over corporate. But it's like kind of like two sides of the same coin, right? It's like, all right, so on one, it's like, oh,
eventually
it's the same thing. It's just the elites like controlling, like industry essentially. It's like, all right, the one way, it's like, all right, private industry takes over government roles, the other it's government roles takes over private industry. It essentially ends up being the same thing.
Yeah.
And fascism, both fascism and communism have come to root on this planet because of populist movements targeting uneducated and the working class, similar to
Right.
yeah. So like there are some similarities, but it's
That is.
of course the media is going to take it and run with it to say these.
Agreed. Yes, there are similarities, and we touched on that a little bit on the Halloween one too, where it's like there is like he does have like what's like an aesthetic about him where he 100% is a populist, without a doubt populist, without a doubt kind of targets different demographics who might be easily persuaded to believe some of his like hyperbolic statements. That all I 100% agree with, but when it comes to actual policies, I just don't see. Like I almost think like he's using the tools of a populist leader to then get the power, but the bad part about the fascism and the Nazis and everything was not that they were populists who used those tools to get power. It's about what they did when they were in power, and I don't see him doing those things. That's my take on that.
Yeah. Nick, can we look up the ethnicity of Donald Trump? Does he got any German in him?
Yeah, what is he? He's a Dutch. Dutch. I
can see it.
Predominantly Germans.
Not looking too good for you there, Dick.
All right, that doesn't.
I'd say Jamaican.
All right. Any last thoughts on that? Anyone before I bring up a new one?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I just want to keep adding the grievances.
Yeah, I think we're ready to move on to the next one. Let's move on to Elon Musk's role.
Yeah,
and
I am a Musk fan. But there's something
in the new presidency. I mean, first off, unelected person coming in and essentially to at least what my side, my algorithm is showing me, it really doesn't seem like Trump's the one calling the shots anymore. It seems like Elon's come in, he said, well, I essentially got you elected. He's like, I'm the one who's going to be calling the shots now. And I think a lot of people have issue with that. There's some interview he did. Oh, dude, it was with, I think it was with Putin. Like, Musk is talking to Putin, and he's like, oh, well, you can't be president ever, right? He's like, oh, well, not officially, I can't be president, no. But
just to play devil's advocate, do you think Joe Biden was calling the shots?
Yeah, definitely not.
No,
I don't think any president has ever told all the shots. Like, but I mean, he's appointed by Trump. I mean, it's the same as every president, where he's just a more public celebrity. So it's like, and he's just more obnoxious and constantly online, just getting attention.
But also, I think it's a little different if it's like, all right, so Biden's 80 whatever years old, has probably no idea what's going on in certain aspects. Has a speech impediment, whatever. Clearly, signs of mental decay, whatever. So say he calls in like, I don't know, some like U.S. foreign aid guys. Like, all right, we need help, writing up this deal or whatever, right? It's like, all right, this guy's been around for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. Very familiar with these circumstances. It's like, all right, let's bring in the world's richest man to decide who's going to get federal money. The guy who receives the most money from the federal government, let's ask where the federal government's money should go.
He's also the man notoriously famous for being the best cost cutter to ever live and basically to ever walk the earth. The best, the best, I don't know what you would call it, the best person who's ever cut costs as efficiently as possible in like a wide range of.
I honestly refuse to believe that like Elon Musk can like efficiently cut costs.
He's done it with seven businesses now, or 6 businesses, where he came in, a business was losing money, he stripped it down to the bare bones, rebuilt it, and now it makes money. He's done that with multiple businesses. But I would say there's a little bit of a difference because like look at Twitter. Twitter, he did the exact same thing, and now it's doing fine. Now it's actually doing fine, and the business is back to being sustainable, and it's doing better than ever. But here's a couple problems though.
Is Twitter doing fine? The last I saw it, like, seems to just hemorrhaging money.
It seems to be. Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's not public anymore, but it seems to be according to Twitter. I guess it's not 100% reliable information. But Tesla is another one.
According to Twitter, Twitter is doing great.
Yes, but okay, we'll look at Tesla. Tesla's a public company, so you can see it. And Tesla was another one where he purchased it. It was a small company that was losing money and running out. Purchased it, fixed it up. I mean, no one manufactures car. No one's starting a manufacturing company that big in America anymore. Like we talked about, we've been trading at the deficit because it's expensive to manufacture in America. Elon's one of the only people who's able to do it because of his ability to cut costs and get down to like, precision level. What do we actually need and what is considered waste? Anyway,
It's like bar rescue.
yes, kind of like bar rescue. But the problem though that I see is that that is a great show. John Taffer might be like one of my favorites.
It's so vague though.
We should bring get John Taffer in the Doge, and now we can talk.
If it was John Taffer instead of Elon Musk, I think we'd be cooking right now. We gotta empty out everything, put in more bar stools, and we're gonna make more. And we're gonna make more money.
Touching the meat with your hands. But no. So the problem though is that like according to like the books written about it, and according to him and the insiders on Twitter, he did a good job with Twitter. But the problem was that there was a day where Twitter went down during it because they didn't have any employees working or not enough to keep it up. And there were a few problems that like, it was like, okay, yeah, it went down for a couple hours or it went down for a day or things were getting screwed up with the verifications for a while. So there was some glitches on the way, but it wasn't a big deal because it was just Twitter. Now, if we're doing that with the United States government and the government goes down for a day,
Right.
People are going to be out fighting in the streets. So, it's a little bit more...
All right, here's the issue. I'm all for cutting some government spending, right? There obviously has to be waste in our government spending. Yeah, like everyone agrees, like, all right, we're spending money that we don't have, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, we run in a trade deficit. We take in less money than we spend year after year. That's why our not deficit.
The trade balance.
No, like what's it called? Like we're like $13 trillion in debt to China. Like what's that shit called?
Oh, the national debt.
Yeah, the national debt keeps increasing, right? So obviously, like there is things that we have to cut back on, right? I think the main issue is that he's coming in with a hatchet instead of a scalpel.
Right. Yes, and I can agree to that. I can agree with that to a point as well because it is more. The consequences are more severe if you break something. Like as opposed to like if you're running a Twitter or like Tesla or something, it's like okay, yeah, it might hurt our bottom line a little bit, but if it's especially at a time like this, I can agree. I like the analogy. Should be more of the scalpel, but overall, I mean, I still think the idea of cutting the spending is good, and we've talked about how like what politician is going to come in and say we're going to cut spending and raise taxes? Like we're never going to get anyone to do that, so we're going to keep kicking this can down the road. At least these guys are finally doing it,
And the main thing just being that like the conflict of interest with Elon is just crazy. It's like all right, like how is this guy going to decide who gets what government contracts when he gets the most government contracts?
True. Yeah, I do see that, and I do think like I'm a fan of Elon. I think that he's probably not really in it for the money necessarily, especially at this point as he's the richest man in the world. So I don't.
He's in it for the power.
Maybe
he's not in it for the goodwill of his heart.
He's probably not in it for the goodwill of his heart. I think he's in it for. It's definitely benefiting him in some way, regardless of what it is. But I don't think what he's doing.
Probably just ego, to be honest.
I mean, he's hurt himself.
He's got friends.
He's hurt himself more than he's tanking his own stock. He's tanking his own net worth. I think that he's doing it for the purposes that he actually understands that there's this national debt problem. He realizes it's a crisis, and so he's trying to do this because he thinks that if he does this, it will help him and the country, and it's kind of a win-win for everyone. But what I don't like about it, but that's just my opinion. I'm a fan of him. I'm biased. What I don't like about this whole thing is that like it's setting the precedent for like now the next time, just because I like this guy. Well, if this is how it goes now, then what happens when the next guy comes in and it's a guy I don't like,
right?
And that guy is doing it for the money and the power, and then it's like, so you got to be strict with your precedents that you want to set, I guess.
Yes.
Thoughts on Elon? Either of you?
I pretty much agree. I do think so. Sure.
I want to talk about big balls.
Hey! I thought we told you can't talk, man. I thought we said speak when spoken to. That's gonna be 5
This is
seconds.
my office, please. You guys gotta, wrap it up in a little bit. I got some work to do.
Yeah.
What's big balls? I don't know if I'm.
Big Balls is the guy that it was pretty funny. Yeah, that's the type of shit that Elon does though. That it's like, dude, like, so basically the guy that Elon had in in the like the Treasury or something, like he was going through. They were basically auditing the government, and he hired like a couple engineers to do it. And one of the guys he had, his name on Twitter was Big Balls, and then
His name is Edward Big Balls Corriston.
Well, yeah, the Doge team they have, isn't it literally just like 20-year-old kids or something?
Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of like 20-year-old engineers.
Yeah, Big Balls is a 19-year-old known online as Big Balls. Worked for Neuralink and reportedly helped bring over reformed hackers to the company. Got a good team over there.
All right, big balls coming at you. Move on.
Yeah.
All right. There's a executive order passed recently. I don't know how recently because there's been fucking million of them. It feels like at this point. But I texted this one to Richie. This one gives the president ability to interpret laws, and it was under the title. Should still have it up. Ensuring accountability for all government agencies. It says, the president and the attorney general, subject to the president's supervision and control, shall provide authoritative interpretations of law for the executive branch. And, this is pretty clearly another, direct attack on checks and balances, because we have an entire branch of government that's supposed to interpret laws. It's the judicial branch. So, what's the point of giving this power over to the executive branch?
Yeah, that one I don't really know. I didn't read into or anything, but yeah, I agreed. I mean, it's not the job of the executive branch; it's the job of the judicial branch.
And the overarching thing behind it, it's another one I had, with Republicans controlling both the executive, all of the executive branch, the courts, and the legislative branch. Why isn't Trump going about things the conventional way? Why set this precedent that the executive branch is not a co-equal branch, but is above the other two and can do whatever they want? Wouldn't it make more sense to have Congress pass some of these things? Because, all right, if the Democrats controlled the House and Senate, it's like, all right, I couldn't do some of these things I want to do. It'd make a little more sense. They literally have all of the power right now. Why are they putting it all into the executive branch?
Yeah, they have the mandate.
They have the mandate for 11. So
Why do you have to go through Congress? Just do it the most efficient way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I don't like that that's the standard that everyone goes by now, too, because, yeah, there's a reason Congress is there, there's a reason the Supreme Court is there, and you just keep overriding them. And it works specifically well when it's something that's like a one-time deal. Like, I was pissed off about this when Biden did it with the vaccines. The reason was because it was obvious to everyone that this was unconstitutional, but the problem was that it was going to take 3, 4, 5 months to get to the Supreme Court, and then by the time they strike it down as unconstitutional, well, it's like, all right, everyone already got the vaccine now, so it's already went into effect. And like, I don't know why. I'm not a fan of that either. I think they should just do it the way it was designed. It was designed with a purpose.
They're going for the ask for forgiveness, not permission play.
Yeah.
It's a good thing when that happened. I was unemployed.
Yeah. Guy.
still unemployed?
Hey,
There's a question, not an accusation.
I'm famous.
How's the creator fund doing?
Dude, not good, because I got scammed by them for the 1-minute videos. We talked about this on the other podcast.
We did. For anyone who didn't tune into that one, what was the scam they were on?
It wasn't really a scam. I was just an idiot, dude. They were like, hey, you can make like 5 times more or something, but only on videos that are over a minute. And I was like, oh, most of my videos are probably over a minute. I was like, okay. And in it, they were like, you can never go back, though.
The irreversible aspect of that is the shady.
It's sketchy.
For
It's
sure.
so sketchy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, shit, okay, whatever. And then I realized, like, none of my videos are over a minute.
Because it's actually hard to make a minute of content that someone is going to stay on.
Yeah.
Like, right? So me and Rich have been posting some TikToks, and it's like, we had 600 views on that. That's pretty cool. And then you look at it, 400 of these views did not last more than 1 second.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
it's
It probably doesn't count unless you get
No.
like a certain amount of
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah, no, it's insane. But now even like I tried to make a few like 1 minute videos, or
It's
I'll
hard.
just take like that video and just like repeat it so that it turns out to be a minute, which is what they do anyways. Like the video just restarts. But
yeah.
But it's like they know that it's over a minute, so I feel like they shadow ban me a little bit. They don't want me to get views something 1 minute on set all the day.
that's a crazy one too. Just little outside of politics, but just like the amount of control that the modern media has in like shaping people's perspectives. Like that's in Trump's first presidency, like that was a huge talking point. It's like, oh, you got banned off of all platforms. This is like the global like space, right? Like this is where ideas are shared.
No, people get news.
Right. This is where
newspaper.
this is where people get news, right? And that was a big issue. Now it's like, all right, if you're gonna come in and say like, all right, we're a bastion of free speech, why isn't this speech allowed? Now we're going so far into the bastion of free speech that there's some pretty crazy things you see on some of these platforms now.
Yeah. Well, that I mean, kind of what you were saying too about how like it's like, well, once the private corporations become way more powerful than the government, that's how you kind of get they begin to merge a little bit. And I mean, that social media is one that I never really thought about before, but it makes a lot of sense. Whereas like when you say like, oh yeah, Trump's the president, he should be running the shots, it's like, yeah, but not really, because like all of the like Trump will never be, no president will ever be more powerful than Zuckerberg, or like because it's like all of them rely on his platform to get their message out, and same with TikTok and Twitter and all of that. So it's like that we've already gotten to the point where these things are the most powerful, specifically social media is like the most powerful tools for a lot of different areas.
Well, at Trump's inauguration, who sat in the front row?
Yeah.
Did his cabinets in the front row? No.
It was Zuckerberg and
Bezos, Musk.
It's the boys.
Yeah.
The boys.
There's someone else there. I forget.
Bezos' bimbo wife.
She's hot.
No, yeah, she's for what is she, like 60?
I haven't seen it.
Is she 60?
I don't know, something like that. She's pretty old.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Bringing that back into politics a little bit. During the Zelensky interview, this is the free speech and politics a little bit. I watched that full interview. like most people have probably only seen that last like 7 minutes. The first 40 minutes of that was pretty standard, pretty cordial. It's like about exactly what you expect. And then at like the 40-minute mark, Vance comes in and he just starts fucking berating Zelensky.
That is true.
Talking about like, oh, you're condemning free speech in Europe over there. Like, we are a bastion of free speech here. Like, we cannot allow you to impede on people's free speech over there in Europe. Like, we're gonna have to stand up to you. Meanwhile, this is a press conference about like a war, not about like social media posts. And I don't know. That's a little weird. Like the tone.
Imagine that was you're 100% right. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I did watch a lot of it.
Dude, it's 40 minutes. Trump and Zelensky are literally joking a little bit back and
It was
forth.
40 minutes of a very standard.
Pretty standard, and then like the first fucking thing Vance says, he like comes on the attack at him, and then like that was the last 8 minutes of that video of that conference you see. It's like him and Trump like
That gets clips. That's all you see.
Is that
That's
but
all
I'm
I
wondering
saw.
if was that you think they just kind of had that set up where it was
They
like,
did,
we'll have the
absolutely.
actual meeting, but then
Yeah.
let's get some good clips at the end and we'll start fighting. Like
I think so.
like
I think so.
like WWE basically.
We do have the first WWE champion in as a presidency. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Well,
That video is so funny.
I wonder like how much of it is too, and it's been more and more obvious with social media.
It's political.
But like, yeah, I've heard some people say that like a lot, like way more of this is political theater than anyone thinks. Like we know some of it is, and we think that some of it is, and there's a lot of right,
You hope it is, yeah.
but there's a lot of theories out there that like everything is basically theater, and it's like the whole meeting is just kind of.
I think it really is. I think 99% of what you see and just like what they're doing is just like posturing.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, like Gulf of America is probably the best example. It's completely fucking meaningless, aside from
just a flex.
like the undertones, right? It's like we can do this. Like, like I want it to be named the Gulf of America. It will be named the Gulf of America, sort of deal. It's like what's the underlying reason for it? Because no one actually gives a shit.
Yeah,
the name doesn't
matter, and it's not like the name was like I was thinking about this too. It's like. I think we named it the first time. I think we named it the Gulf of Mexico because it was like from America's perspective, it's like
Mexico's over
there, right by that Gulf. That's the Gulf of Mexico.
That makes sense. That's reasonable.
Yeah,
that's like I don't think it. Yeah, it was like I don't know that, but yeah, I mean
that's how most things get named. It's like Twin Pines Resort. Oh, there's 2 pine trees outside. Let's name it Twin Pines Resort. Like.
I do think that a lot of the political division, though, might be built off of the idea that it's easier to see through the theater when it's the side that you don't like. So that like people on the right will look at the left and say like, oh, look at Kamala, and look, it's all political theater. She's not even saying anything.
They're talking about sex changes, right?
Yeah. Well, they'll be like, she'll go on 60 Minutes, and they release it after, and it's like. The amount of like editing and things they had to do, and like she had to redo the answer so many times. And it's like, look, like the right will attack that and be like, yeah, look at like it's all just theater. Like she doesn't even know what she means. She's got people writing her speeches for her. Like she's just like a puppet basically. But then the right will say like, okay, but yeah, Trump, but like he's a straight shooter. Like he's actually on his game. Where it's like the left kind of sees that same thing about Trump, but they don't see it about their guy. It's easier to see the other guys.
Yeah,
tunnel vision.
Well, it's for sure that. It's also just the fact that your algorithm shows you all this stuff.
Yeah.
It basically tells you it for you. It's like, oh, look at this. Kamala had to have all of her like CNN minutes edited, right? So then everyone that is a Republican's like, oh, did you see that CNN had to edit all this stuff about Kamala? Then it's like, I'm like, like my feed would be like, oh, did you see that like Trump is like talking about whatever he's fucking talking about. He's like, no, I haven't seen that, right? It's just all like misinformation, and it's all, I think it is truly about dividing us.
Yeah, it seems like it is, and that would be a great way to, I think we might have been talking about this, whereas like, a great way to go to war with a country without sending a single troop on the ground is to just go into their social media or stuff like that and try to spur up political division.
Most of the stuff that you see online, I think, is like Russian bots.
It could be, yeah.
Like it's
or China
or China bots, right?
I think I've gamed my algorithm pretty well.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care too much about things.
No.
So when political stuff does come up, I get both sides.
Yeah, I try to
get
get
both sides. I don't. It doesn't just push one.
I mean, it's hard because like I'll just naturally watch something more on the one side, and then just feed you more of that same type of stuff,
Numbers though.
Yeah. So I think I like that's my approach of trying to find what how much is bullshit is like. Okay, what is like the Wall Street Journal saying? Yeah, shit like that. And then other than that, it's like they have books and stuff that are like not designed to basically lie to you and convince you about
they have some of their own agendas too, though.
A lot of them do actually. Yeah, especially. It can summarize quickly, but it's like,
does it have an agenda? Is there?
No, I mean probably not, but it just.
But all it does is take information from the internet. from other sources.
Yeah.
So it's drawing its sources from someone who does have an agenda, and then it's just spitting that back to you.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes, and because I trained like AI chatbots, I've been doing that for a while, and there's like different projects you can work on, and some are like offensiveness or stereotypes, and pretty much like you'll see like a purposely like racist thing in there, and the chatbot's supposed to like not respond or like do what that person's asking.
Okay.
So I think it's just on like a level kind of playing field, but it might be, and that's based off of pretty much my work and like the million other people who test AIs. So if their agenda is getting into the training, then these AIs might be like more.
Yeah, I mean,
depending on the person training it.
That's always a risk too. I know that happened with the Google one a while ago, where they were like, remember that one? It was a while ago, but they would say, you know, it was like they were trying to make sure it was like diverse and everything, and then it would have like people would be like, yeah, generate like a picture of like a Nazi soldier, and it would be like a black Nazi or like they would have the things that were just like historically inaccurate,
Yeah.
because they were trying to make sure that they had people of all ethnicities and everything, but it just like some of it was like.
Oh yeah, it's like a 18th or an 8th century like Viking. And it's like a black dude. It's like, well, that's
Yes,
that's what a black one looks like.
it's like they asked for like a picture of George Washington, and he was just like black.
and that's probably why they have the certain things like in the projects that I've worked on, because one of the categories is like historical accuracy. So if that were to come up, I am supposed to put like historically inaccurate, like they're not supposed to be that color. But as far as like basic things, it'll be like, oh, make a group of, you know, guys getting a beer at the bar. Like it's supposed to have different races, or like
That makes that makes
people.
sense. Actually.
There should be women, men, different skin colors, shit like that.
Yeah,
And you're supposed to
that makes sense. I mean, that's what it should be. Yeah, like it's
reasonably.
reasonable. Yeah.
There was a recent bug that actually happened with Apple, where if you were speaking into the phone and if you said the word racist, then Trump's name would pop up for like a quick second. Yeah, Alex Jones blew the whistle on it, and it turned out to actually be true. It was a real thing that Apple then commented on.
Should we all just agree as a society that we should just, like we're talking about, it's tough to find a source of truth that can be reliable. Can we all just agree that Alex Jones is the sole source of truth?
Him and John Taffer.
What he says is reality.
Alex Jones and Nick Dov 11 on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All true.
No, I mean Alex Jones is hilarious. I'll listen to his podcast sometimes just for like the entertainment factor, and and he gets like a shit ton of views. And he's been, you know, obviously he's been right on some things, he's been way off on some things, but it's also just like the intensity of the things he's saying. Whereas like
That's why he gets me.
if you're someone who like listened to this, he also does like 6 hours a day. But if you're someone who's like listening, like a regular Alex Jones listener, you would think that like your view of reality would be so like you would be under the impression of like you think there's like cyborg like pig men walking around like trying to like steal your kids and stuff like
I want to take Apple Watch and watch one and just see what my heart rate goes to. I'm probably just sitting there getting fired up. I'm like, you're right, Alex.
Well, there's a great quote. There's a great quote about Howard Stern. Like, you know, he's like one of the original, like, it wasn't like a podcast, or he had like a talk show, right?
Yeah,
one of the original talk show guys.
Is it top?
Shock radio.
Yeah, like shock radio, right? And so they're running like these tests. They're like, all right, so we interviewed like 100 Howard Stern lovers. They said like, how long on average do you listen to him a day? It's got like 30 minutes. What's the number one reason you listen to Howard Stern? I want to hear what he has to say next, right? Like, oh, it's incredible. Then they go to Howard Stern haters and they say, how often do you listen to Howard Stern a day? An hour and a half.
Yeah.
All right, what's the number one reason why you listen to Howard Stern? I want to hear what he has to say next.
Yeah.
Either way, he's winning.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of the Trump effect a little bit too. It's like, you know,
You're
I
talking
mean,
about
like him or hate him, you're
yeah.
talking about him. Yeah.
That's like, that's good strategy. Just getting debates in the comments.
Any publicity is good publicity. So
Yeah, just trying to like
Aside from bad at this.
push someone's button.
you know, and then you'll have just people doing the work for you.
I think the psychological studies show too that people are more likely to respond out of anger or
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
than they are
They-
like
they-
Pointing.
Yeah.
100%. Like that's rage bait is like a thing you see online all the time. It's you don't like engage with something that makes you feel good. You just scroll past it.
Or
You see something you see something that pisses you off. You're immediately in the comments going crazy. You send that to your buddy. Can you believe what this guy just said? No, it's
Oh, I know, pal.
all right.
Oh, I've had some really mean things in my comments, dude.
So you're doing something right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I love that I also have other people who will just come in and defend me, and then they start arguing. Not only is it like good engagement, but it's like trying to make me feel good that
Someone cares.
someone's got my back.
Well, so a lot of people talk about too. It's like, oh yeah, how did we get so divided? You know, it's like, oh, it was because of Trump. He's just a divisive character, probably part of it, or it was because of the 2008 financial crash where it was kind of like a class warfare, and that kind of stirred into political division, or who knows, all this type of things, bots, whatever. And could it be just as simple as just like the mechanism used to communicate, the incentive structure that aligns with the mechanism used to communicate has changed? Where now rage bait, how much of our online political discourse is simply rage bait?
Well,
And,
all of it.
and your algorithm showing you all bad things about Trump that's gonna piss you off.
Right.
Like the my algorithm, like one of the biggest conservative pages, like right wing like political pages, is called Libs of TikTok. You've seen this?
Yeah.
And all it does is just show it just shows like
Hate mail.
people that are far to the left, kind of extreme leftists, and it's followed only by people on the right, and they just want to see what these other people are doing that's gonna piss them off the most.
Yeah,
That's literally like everything.
I mean, again,
the guy who owns the account is winning though.
if you're a conservative, your page is filled with liberals
Yes.
doing bullshit,
Exactly.
right? And same on the other side, right? And it's not like, oh, like here's all the great things Trump's doing. It's here's all the dumbass shit that the left is doing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how we got divided, definitely just like phones. And this
Yeah.
sounds kind of stupid, but I did realize this. I was watching Love Is Blind just for research purposes to make content.
Of course.
And so you guys know the gist of it. They're all in these houses and they talk to each other through a wall. They can't see each other, right?
Okay.
And they all say how in love they are. And then you have to propose without seeing them. And I noticed afterward, you go on like a honeymoon thing and like you meet each other, and the whole time you're in these pods, you can't have your phone. You can't look at your phone. As soon as they get out, though, they all get their phones, and almost every one of the couples would like see something on their phone, or like their friend would say like, oh, I don't like that chick, or like you'd look them up on Instagram and see like, oh, he had a girlfriend like 3 months ago, like, and they all broke up. Like, I think there's only 2 left, and I realized like the phone, because you guys were ready to get married.
Boomers were right, man. It might be the damn phones. Like,
Yeah.
like we might not. We're not supposed to have all of the world's information at our fingertips.
Yeah,
Like, it's sensory over.
It's like you fell in love with the person in front of you for exactly who they are right now. And then you get your phone back and you just get a bunch of people and shit in your ear saying they don't like them, or you find out something about them. Like what happened? What happened yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Like you were ready to marry this person.
I mean, how close are we getting to like the concept from Fahrenheit 51, I think it's called, that 51, that book where where there's something part in there about how the wife is just like surrounded by screens all day, and like it's just constantly screens and people talking on screens. It's like, okay, yeah, like now like the average day, like an average day is like, okay, like I get home from work and I use my little screen to look up what I'm gonna watch on my big screen as a reward for watching my medium screen.
That post, I fucking saw that, and it's like that's the truest thing I've ever seen. And I'll just rephrase it a little bit. It's like I work for 8 hours staring at the medium bad screen so that I can go home and look at the good big and small screens.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
No, I noticed that sometimes. I'll like catch myself sometimes where I'm like, all I've looked at was my phone and the TV all day. I'm like, this isn't good. But most of the time, you don't even realize.
No,
It's
yeah,
just
you
so
definitely-
normal.
The one good thing, I have 2 roommates right now I'm living with. As soon as I get off work, for the most part, I am off my phone. Like when I'm with my friends, like even if you're watching like a movie together, I think that's different.
Socializing.
That's then everyone is like engaging in the same thing. Like all right, maybe it's not quite the same as like like going to a bar, or going out for a hike, or something like that. But at least it's like like a social aspect versus like when you get home, all 3 of you are on your phones, and like 3 hours pass. Like all right, well I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like
We're just in your room.
or in your room. Like what sort of community do you have at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always when I realize it, is when I'm alone.
It is.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't talked to a single person today, and I've just been looking at 2 different screens.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah, and it's gone so quickly too. Where like it's been less than 20 years ago. There was like probably you'd spend like
you'd have to dial up.
a little bit of time maybe on the medium screen, and maybe a little bit of time on the big screen. There was no small screen, and overall screen time per day was like maybe a couple hours. Whereas now it's like your phone screen time is probably 5-6 hours a day, plus your 8-9 hours a day at your work screen. I mean, look at how many freaking screens this guy.
Yeah, there's 80 screens over there.
Insane, dude.
And
No, all right. No,
It's like
no Cam.
if you were to combine all the screen, your screen time is like probably 60 hours a day. It's insane, and it's just 20 years ago it was like so much. I guess the question then is like 20 years from now, they got the VR headsets now. Are we just going to be?
That shit's terrifying. Augmented reality, like
Yeah, it's like
no one might be living this.
does the world become just a
giant
huge screens? Yeah.
well, we're thinking right now is like us, and like when we had flip phones. We went outside as kids. Now you got iPad kids. So what are they gonna be like if we're this bad right now?
They all have an awful social
Yeah,
anxiety.
they're already
They're
They're already.
I see so much stuff. Like one of the things that pops up on my TikTok feed a lot is teachers, and teachers are like, dude, these kids are like ungovernable. Like they already know like everything. They can look up the answers to every single question I ask them. Like I have no authority over them essentially. Like they just like do not like respond at all.
And they're just gonna respond with like a meme.
Yeah. You ever see those lists?
Yeah.
Slow line.
You ever see those lists? It's like banned words in classrooms.
Yeah,
it's like
all the
it's like
free
no
routes,
phantom, no
shitty-
phantom tax, no Libby Dunn, no like baby Gronk. Like
Joey, what's 4 + 4? Riz. Can you come up to the board and write it? There's a gritty on the way up.
Dad. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean,
But like an interesting thing I saw. It's like we might already be there. So like, essentially, people don't really live in the real world. You live in this little isolated bubble that you see on your phone, and you think that everything you see on your phone is the real world, right? So like, libs of TikTok just say someone who's conservative looking at this, like, this is what every single liberal person is like. This is insane. But then you just like talk to your neighbor. It's like, that's not at all what that guy's like.
even the concept of money is like like money's always been just like a measure of like productivity and how it's been like a pretty real world measure. But even the concept of money now is like we're barely even using cash anymore. It's just numbers on a screen, really, and it's like that's not even really real either. Like,
I don't really get how it's basically most money is not currency. It's numbers on a screen. How is someone not like a hacker not gone into their like feed, like their like bank account, just added like 4 zeros?
I think there has been some cases, but you think that would be like, I don't know. I'm sure that they probably got.
I'm sure the security is really
trading
good.
stuff.
But
I mean,
like,
that's the idea of like crypto is like a protection against that. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure it happens. Like it's got it. It probably does. I would imagine. But
Yeah, the IRS probably. Although maybe it's getting stripped.
well, there might. I was thinking about not paying my taxes this year. I mean, like what's the point?
Looking at.
If Trump shuts down the IRS, it's like, all right, like what?
I saw on the big screen that now that King Trump is in, we don't have to pay taxes no more.
Well, that brings up a good point. That brings up a good point. The budget plan that was proposed by conservatives, Trump came in saying we're gonna have no tax on tips, Gonna have no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime pay. Does their budget plan have any of those three things? No. What does it have? $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for the richest 0.1% of Americans and raising basically everyone else's taxes.
Is it corporate? Is it like corporate tax cuts? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I'd assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it. It depends. Depending on what the tax cut is. Like, I'm a fan of corporate tax cuts. Trickle down economics. I think they work, but or supply side economics. But yeah, I mean, that one I don't really know about. But yes, he did. There was a lot of talk about no tax on tips and overtime pay and that type of thing, which I have not seen come to fruition.
And I mean, all right, so every politician lies to get elected, right? Like, you can't go in there and say, like, realistically, I'm not going to be able to do this for you. I'm not going to be able to do this for you. You say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You promise the world if you don't deliver, all right, like, what the fuck you want me to do about it? My hands are tied,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But, like, it's just shambolic at a certain point, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean they all do it, but yeah, I mean Trump's no different than every other politician in that aspect. A lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, we're sick of these politicians. We want a businessman and all. It's like he is a politician too, though. He's still got the same characteristics that everyone hates about politicians. Trump's still got all those too, so he's no better.
I mean, are Trump's incentives like any different than what like Joe Biden's or Kamala Harris's incentives would have been? Like, realistically, are they not doing the same things? Like, all right, like I get elected, I'm giving like kickbacks to whoever got me here. Like, is that not how politics works essentially?
Yeah, I imagine it. I imagine it is. Like, obviously, Elon's got, he's getting his dues and everything. I just think that the incentive, I think the main one is that the globalization thing, where it's like, one thing you can say about Trump is that he is a puppet of a like global or international organization.
Russia.
Well, no, I don't think he's a puppet of Russia at all. I mean, that's another thing where it's like, okay, yeah, we can keep saying that over and over, but that doesn't make it true. That there's no evidence of him being tied to Russia whatsoever. It was just something that was said over and over on the news for a long time. So it's like,
I saw a video the other day about all the Trump ties to Russia. I was gonna send it to you, but then I don't know. I was like, he just probably wouldn't believe it.
I mean, I think yes. I mean, if you have, I'll take a look at it, and it's not that I won't believe it. Like, I'll believe a lot of things, but there is no, like, when it comes to his ties to Russia, meaning like he has property there or something. Like, okay, yeah, fine, but he's got property here. There's no, for so long the media was saying that Trump and Putin colluded to rig an election so that he could win, and that now Trump owes Putin this favor because he helped him win the election, and so now Trump is basically a puppet of Putin. All of that turned out to be, it was all debunked by, I don't need to see a video because the Mueller file has it all right in there. The entire thing was made up by the Clinton campaign as a campaign tactic, and then they stuck with it for 2.5 years.
I want to bring up a funny one adjacent to that. During the Zelensky-Trump interview the other day, Trump brought up like 3 or 4 times. He's like, Putin, he had to go through some terrible things. He had to go through a witch hunt involving me. It's like terrible. He had to go through that ordeal with me. I'm sitting there watching that like, Putin didn't give a fucking flying shit about that. Like that didn't affect him in the slightest bit. And like Trump's trying to cut it out like, oh my God, Putin's gone through some absolute shit in the past few years. He's a complete victim. It's like, nah, this guy just invaded a sovereign country and.
No, but I think the reason that Trump is friendly with Putin is because, or is not critical of Putin, is because Putin is also a nationalist like Trump. Whereas Putin neither so say Biden, Obama, Kamala, these are pretty much all the kind of establishment politicians. Whereas like they're held accountable to these international organizations, where like that's part of the reason, that's like the main reason that the war is even going on in Ukraine, is because these international organizations were kind of growing and expanding beyond the scope that they were supposed to under the agreement they had with Russia. Whereas like Putin is a Russia guy. He's not like a Right. He's not like a global guy.
I think that is the main divide, because I said this earlier, but yeah, like Trump has like his zone of interest, Putin has his zone of interest, and they're both nationalists, like you said, wanting to like control their own part of the world. I think that is really like where most of these situations are stemming out of, is like, all right, should we stay along the lines of nation states, or should we go towards a more global society?
But yeah, I mean, not that we really have a choice in the matter, because Russia is now kind of doing the same thing though, but just with like the Eastern Bloc, with like China, and it seems like at least that they're kind of doing like they're forming their own kind of version of NATO, like the BRICS nations, this type of thing. Whereas like there's now one of the things on the docket we haven't gotten to was World War III, and you think about Ukraine, or even like the war in Palestine. Everyone said it was going to erupt into a world war, but it's kind of like it's all kind of the same war at this point, because it's just like the Eastern Bloc versus like the kind of NATO, United Nations.
I had an interesting thought the other day. Do you think Trump might split us from the EU and try and join like BRICS?
I don't know if he would. I never thought about that. I don't know if he would want to join BRICS, but
and would that be a good move? What do you think, Joe?
Yeah,
that might be interesting. I mean, because what? I mean, right now, my opinion is like what there's like in terms of geopolitics or whatever. There's like 3 countries that have influence. They have like their own influence, right? It's
U.S.,
Russia, China.
Yeah.
If all 3 of them teamed up,
that's what I'm saying. Like, should we not just join BRICS? Like, they're up on the rise. We're like the old guard, essentially, and like they're like the new guys on the rise.
I just don't know that it would. I don't think it would be. I wouldn't want to. Well, I guess it would kind of depend, because the whole idea, the conflict that's kind of brewing, is not so much a power conflict. Like so China's growing really fast. They're pretty much like passing us, and so they're gonna have like the world's biggest economy, and
not already.
They might already,
yeah.
But they're gonna have more and more influence, and eventually they're gonna have more influence than us. I think they're already getting there. Anyway, I don't even think it's so much like if it was, say, Canada who was growing and they were catching us and passing us, and we had the option to just like team up and join their kind of their group, then yes. But I think the difference is that the reason that China is considered a threat isn't because they're becoming so powerful and because they're becoming wealthier. It's because they have like anti-democratic practices. They have government corruption, like authoritarian surveillance.
Not that we have government corruption.
We don't have it like I mean, no, we don't have it like they do though. They run a surveillance state basically.
Yeah.
Whereas like the government has the ability to seize any business property, like TikTok. Everyone's talking about TikTok's a big threat. The reason why is because in China the government has the ability to just here it's a private company. The government can't go into Facebook and start looking through their data files without a warrant or something. But in China, the government does that all the time. Whereas, like, if we were to, have some type of alliance with China, they would want their influence on us. So we would probably have to cede a lot of our values to have more of their values, which would mean probably we're under a surveillance state, social credit scores, this type of thing, which is like not what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
But then again,
if we did it without having to give up any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, and Russia's kind of more similar to China, I believe. I don't really know much about the inner.
Are we trending towards global governance?
I think so.
Is that a good or bad thing, Joe?
Yeah. I would say I thought we were before 2022, before this war with Ukraine, but now it seems like we're trending away. But it's sort of short term, and these things that happen over long periods of time. So
yeah,
it's tough to say.
Yeah,
well, that'd be a good or bad thing.
In a perfect world, I think you want want like humanity to
Right.
be like one thing,
Yeah.
one unit. Like there's no, like we can all.
There's no
Everyone's needs are met.
Yeah.
Everyone's needs are met, and we have this one efficient system of government that covers the entire world or whatever.
from each according to their ability to each according to their needs.
Yeah, it sounds good.
That's the basic socialist one.
I mean that's
Put on your oxygen mask and then help.
and then help the guy next to
But like you have to use your.
Yeah, the idea of the global government, I do think I agree with what you said though. It does. It's kind of like we're starting to swing back the other way. Trump getting elected, Ukraine war, everything. It's pulling it apart. It was trending that way, starting to pull back. But I think we're to look like very long term, 100 years from now. I think that we're heading there. Like eventually it'll might pull back in little areas, but eventually
Right.
it all comes together. Now whether that's a good or bad thing,
Yeah, what do you think?
well, I think it's a neutral thing, and it just depends on what the government, like
Could be good or bad.
yeah, right. It's like if it's if it is a I think if it's a merit based government with good incentive structures that makes everyone productive and meets everyone's gives everyone the ability to pursue a good life and everything, then good. If it's an authoritarian surveillance state, probably bad. It depends on that. Another question then though would be like, if we did have a global government, what the hell would we do?
Right. I mean, that's getting into the philosophy behind it. It's like what is humanity's like purpose?
Our entire
Essentially.
scale of like improvement and advancement in technology and everything has always been of the means of like protecting against a war with another country. It's always been a competition between nation states, and if there's only one. Who are we competing against? Then that's when we get the aliens.
I mean, the first thing would be sustainability. I would say, like making sure that people can live on Earth 1,000 years from now, and like have available resources to them. The second thing would just be like technological advancement. I mean, like, and the grandest of schemes, like, I think really what the purpose of any intelligence is to like expand. Essentially, like we want to become like a type 1 civilization, right? Someone who can go out and like colonize, our local group, essentially. I mean, I think that's what we would be building towards.
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, so I've heard this before, and I can't remember the type 1. There's like a couple the types. What are the types of the civilizations?
Joe, I think you got that one in your bag. A type 1 civilization, I believe the metric of
Right?
it's science fiction at this point.
Scientology.
A type 1 civilization.
Not yet type 1.
No, you're not.
No.
We're like 4 or something.
Okay.
We're like 3 maybe.
What is it?
So type 1 civilization, I believe, is you harness like the power of your sun, to then be able to like essentially like create like some insane like
How are you spelling sun?
SUN.
Okay. I was like, if it was just like your kid.
Plenty of suns yet.
Well, don't we already do that with like solar powered?
No,
So
like
it's just
this is like some like huge like dome that you put around the sun, and you just like suck up all that energy, and you can like use that towards like insane shit.
Wait, don't do that already.
I got a live fact check. I got the list right here.
Yeah.
So we got type 0 civilization, pre-planetary. We have not yet harnessed the full energy potential of the planet. Type 1 is harnessing all the available energy on the planet.
Okay.
Type 2 can harness the total energy output of its entire star. That's using the Dyson sphere.
Dyson sphere, yeah, that's what I was just referencing.
Type 3 is galactic civilization, controlling energy at the scale of an entire galaxy. Type 4 can harness energy at the scale of the entire universe. And Type 5 controls energy of multiple universes. Right now, we are at a Type 0.73. We're sitting about 0.17% of Earth's available energy. So yeah, we're getting there.
This is just like superhero movies.
Yeah.
This is
nonsense.
the future of humanity.
Or the future of humanity.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. We got the quantum chips coming.
Maybe
I
we
mean, that'll
will
be
be
the quantum chip the other day.
Yeah, if you were living during like the Renaissance and they were saying, hey, it's gonna be in the future we're gonna have like smartphones and whatever.
Yeah, like instantaneous communication to someone across the globe. You're like, you're crazy.
They're gonna be like, yeah, this
Yeah.
The future, you're just stay in the room and look at screens all day, so you better enjoy plowing this field while you can.
Exploring different galaxies, I feel like.
Well, different universes. So that type 5 now got a little crazy.
you gotta find another
insane.
universe first.
But there's a meme from like years ago that made me sad. It's something like too old to explore the world, too young to explore the universe, born just in time to explore the realm of dank memes.
Yeah.
And that's about where we're at. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think in the future? You know how we look back now, and we got names of the ages. You know, you got the Gilded Age, the Enlightenment,
The meme age.
you know, that's probably gonna be like the Digital Age or something like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. You know, it could be like our view of our own presence could be like totally distorted. We're like looking back at history and be like, dude, that was a weird ass time. You know, yeah.
This was the dumbass age.
yeah.
All these people were fucking.
Everyone thought they should have a podcast. Everyone thought they should have a say in things.
Yeah.
Have you guys got one of those comments yet?
I don't think we've gotten
Podcast equipment are more expensive.
I don't think we've gotten big enough to get those types of comments.
Yeah, you know you're doing good when you get those.
We got a few on TikTok.
You guys are tight.
Oh yeah, like I remember the first time I found a camera.
Yeah, people are mean.
Yeah, people are mean on the internet, but they might not even be people. So
Yeah.
They might not even be people. That's the craziest part is like you don't know if you're looking at something that's like real or something that like is just completely and utterly fabricated digitally.
yeah.
I sent Richie a video of Zelensky and Trump boxing earlier. They're just like square up.
It looked pretty legit.
It looks pretty legit. Like you can tell it's like AI, but like in a couple of years, dude. Like, and the problem becomes who is the truth.
Alex Jones and John.
Exactly, right? Because
Love it.
you see a video of a building blowing up, and half the comments are like, "Oh no, this is AI. This is totally fake." Then like the news comes on, and gives their line. It's like, "Oh, who do you believe?"
Yeah.
I mean, think about movies.
yeah,
Like they already have the technology and they could create a video that looks insanely
Like the
real.
moon landing.
yeah.
Yeah. Just like
Well, that
Do something shitty. I guess I just call back to like the past again. Like if you're living in 1800, how do you know that anything's like real?
I guess, yeah, you get the newspaper. It's like, oh, we defeated the Turks at Constantinople. It's like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like, was there a period where before smartphones where things could be considered real? But
Right.
when did that start? I don't know. No, I think at every point in human history, you just have to. It's an individual. It's an individual thing. You have to,
shit. And speaking of what's real, I'm real paranoid about that show, Real or Cake.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut into everything.
You're
like, is this cake?
Afraid you're gonna come home one day, like your dad's gonna be the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is kind of insane, just like, it seems like it's going bad, like, oh yeah, everything's fake now, we can't tell it's real, which is part of it, but it possibly is just like a growing pains kind of situation, because realistically, I guarantee you, like, that reference you made back in the 1800s, I guarantee you, so here's the difference, is now we know that we can't tell whether everything that we find on the internet is real, so we should probably go read a book, or even if we ask ChatGPT, well, just pull the sources from Wikipedia or something, might not be real, so this is what we think, but we remain uncertain. Whereas back in those days, there was probably like very little suspicion among the common men. It's like whatever said in the newspaper. It's like oh yeah, that. I feel like they didn't even realize. I mean, we came across it this year. I think was the eye opener for everyone. I think Trump's first term was for people who were paying attention, but now everyone kind of gets it. That the media, the CNN, Fox, and MSNBC are all full of shit. They've always been full of shit. No, they're basically they're dying. They're almost dead. And if you want to get a more accurate source of news, you're better off going to like some podcast or some type of like streaming channel. People are like aware of that now. It's still the same amount of bullshit that's probably gonna be out there, but there's like you now have the freedom of like choice between your sources, where no one ever had that before. It was one. That's the news guy. He tells me what real what it is.
Walter Cronkite wouldn't lie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, on that.
If he's lying to me, that means he's lying to everyone.
On that like 5-point scenario kind of, but the problem is a lot of people still haven't clicked into not everything they see is real.
A lot of people.
There's so many people who still would just believe whatever, probably because they want to believe.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of hard left, hard right type of people, or even just like insane conspiracy theorists, who they will believe everything they see.
Mhm.
And it's like it's not so much about, because we're reasonable people, we know that you can't take everything at its word, but there's so many people who still do. So the real problem is convincing the mass population to question things.
Another crazy part of it is like I'll see something, I'll realize like I know I can't believe you can't believe everything you see, but then even when you see it, you kind of believe it at the start, right? You see it's like oh my god, Trump did this, and like I want to send it to Richie and me, and I'm like, well, what if it's like not really real? What if it's like taken out of context? What if it's like this?
Idiot.
Right, and then I'm gonna look like an idiot. But then it's like, what do I like check it against?
Yeah.
You know, like where do I go to find out if it's actually real or not?
I think if you get really deep into it, you can't really check anything.
Right.
We don't know fuck all.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the end of the podcast, guys. We don't know shit.
I mean, primary sources is like, that's what they would say in high school, and now it's like become like an actual thing. It used to be like,
It's got to end in like edu.
Yeah, right. Now it's
bullshit.
like a real thing, but they're all bullshitting too.
Yeah, that's a good point. So everyone's just bullshit.
Everyone's just bullshit except for us. We always speak the truth.
Live my life a mile at a time. Quarter mile
at a time.
There is that quote from Orwell, something about that. I was like, the idea of like objective truth is like slowly diminishing. Like there's something along those lines where it's like the very idea of something being like objectively true is like there's a certain point where that's no longer even a thing.
I mean that's it's a problem because that's like a core value of philosophy as well. It's like, all right, why is that true? Like, all right, why is that part of that true? Like, what is your definition of like this, right? You keep going, and like you said, you can't really prove anything for the most part. Even like shit like that we know to be true in like science. It's like we might not have the entire fucking whole picture of it, right?
Yeah,
like gravity. We don't really know what the fuck gravity is. Like, we know it's like things attracting to each other, like it's like things affecting force on each other. Literally like 20 years ago, we're like, oh, we know exactly what gravity is. And then it's like, oh, actually, gravity is in like 17 fucking dimensions. Like time affects gravity, and it's all anti-warping against each other. Like, our theories like are changing every day, and it's...
And a great example of that is like, you'll see 20 of these commercials if you watch TV for an hour of, have you taken Advil? If so, call us. So, like, we found out that it leads to fucking terrible diseases. It's like 5 years ago, like, everyone was doing it because the lab coat then said that it was good. But and then you find out that it actually wasn't, and everyone's dying. It's like, who the fuck do you even trust? Because if I take something new now, 5 years from now, there might be a commercial. Did you take this shit? Like, you're gonna die.
Yeah, like, dude, like asbestos in homes. Like, we used to just throw that shit in every home, and then, like, 20, 30 years after we, like, started doing it, it's like, oh, wait, this stuff's terrible for you. Like, maybe we shouldn't have been doing that.
Science bitches.
Anytime
so good.
Anytime there's work being done in federal buildings, they always had, most of the time, if it was built during that period, they would have to like bring in these like, abatement specialists and like come in and like have like an industrialized as testing for the asbestos, because you can't just start knocking down walls and just throwing asbestos in the area.
Yeah, and is there any more like topics that we got to touch on? Because I got some bits. Some of them are kind of dumb. Some of them are...
I think it's about time to start throwing out some bits.
Yeah. All right. First one. Do your listeners have like a nickname?
No.
Sims.
Yeah, that's it.
Dude, that's the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah,
I wrote down the Simps, and then the Mod Simps, and then the Hogs. Second question: are we sponsored by Michelob Ultra?
We should be.
We should be.
We're sponsored by Healing Roots.
Healing Roots.
Healing Roots. Find out about your sustainable agricultural practices in Babcock Ranch.
Mending the relationship between
Mother Earth and something else.
Yeah. So what is it again?
Yeah. You know,
humans, Mother Earth.
you know what?
Roots.
Yeah, you guys should definitely buy that. I heard the guy who owns it is a baby rapist. Yeah, you should definitely buy those.
Huh?
It's from that fucking pot. Yeah.
Everyone got that.
Tell you catch up.
It was, what show was that?
It was from Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
Where he basically like does ad reads, but his strategy is to just be like the most.
You just looked the guy up and found out he's a piece of shit.
He'll just like, say the most ridiculous thing. He'll be like, yeah, like turns out this guy was a murderer. He's like the guy who owns this company, murderer. He's a terrible guy. He's going off on him, but it's like in the middle of the ad. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I got a few. I don't want to take too long on any of these because I kind of have like a lot of them. And I was writing these down while I was doing it. I saw this video and it was so cool. I just wanted to know if you guys have seen it. I don't even remember what it was like. Some general or something in the military. He was like giving a press conference and he ended with like, "If you want to come to war with America, I promise you this: someone else will raise your sons and daughters."
Yeah. That was it.
Mad Dog. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that was super cool.
That was
I can check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wars.
What would you all identify as in like how you view life or the world? Like are you an optimist or like pessimist?
I'd like to think pragmatist. Is that a thing? Is that how you say it?
I don't know. No, see, can we get a?
That's a thing. That's a thing.
How do you feel here?
Sum it up in one word.
Yeah, how you viewing life these days?
Honestly, I think I at this point I would say I'm optimistic overall compared to like relatively optimistic. Yeah.
Glass half full.
I'm an optimist. I'm more of like actually, you know what I might be? I think I'm an absurdist. I think everything is just so ridiculous and everything is so crazy in life that you just like pick what you want to believe in and you just believe in it and you just find meaning in your own life. Choose your own. Choose your own.
I've never heard that one.
Kind of like the Joker from Dark Knight.
Yeah. Just blow up some buildings because like.
Well, I do think that like it's kind of like the Pascal's wager that you were talking about on one where like confidence and optimism. It's like obviously you don't know like it's obviously like whether you're an optimist or pessimist. It's kind of just like up to you, and it's better to be an optimist regardless.
Yeah, like
whether or not it's actually gonna
what's
if things are gonna go good.
What's
better, you have a better chance of them actually going good.
What's the point of being like cynical?
Yeah,
like saying, all right, like if you want to be cynical, be cynical, but at a certain point, it's like, all right, just like why?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that I know things are gonna go good. It's just makes more sense for me to think that.
Even if things aren't going to go well, it's better to believe that things are going to go well.
Yeah, this is why everyone's prescribed anxiety medication.
Pragmatically optimist.
Oh, I heard this term like not too long ago, and I realized it's what I am. I'm a optimistic nihilist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what Sirius too, right? Same.
Kind of, yeah.
It's pretty much like
he doesn't believe in anything.
He's
a nihilist.
I know.
It's
It's like I realize that nothing matters. Like we're all just gonna fucking.
Yeah.
Okay, like what you do, like go talk to that girl. Like yeah, she'll turn you down or whatever. Who fucking cares? You keep living another day. But the important part is the optimistic nihilist. So it's like I realize that nothing really fucking matters. So I might as well make the most out of everything.
Yeah.
You know
how strange it is to be anything at all.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite movie that Trump was in?
The Trump was it on, right?
Yeah, probably Home Alone.
Home Alone 2 is the only answer. It's the only movie he's that in.
Okay.
Kind of what Joe said. Another line I like. It's like I was walking down a creek one day and I looked at the mud and I realized like I could have been mud. But then I realized that the mud is mud. Lucky mud. Lucky me. You know? Yeah, dude. Like,
That mud's probably having a good time.
That's fucking right. All right, yeah. All right, if we're doing these.
Yeah, we are
I'll
just
do
doing
another one
this.
that you might have heard away, but it's like two fishes are swimming in the sea or whatever, and the one looks at the other one and he says, "Oh, the water's pretty nice today," and then the other one looks at him and he says, "What's water?"
yeah.
You want to be like the second. You want to be.
I think they do want to be like a second fish. Yeah.
Here's another little bit that's kind of like that, but it has nothing to do with like optimism or anything like that. It was just a joke that the Joker actually told in the old thing. He was talking to Batman. He's telling him a joke, and he says, when I was in the psych ward, this psycho told me this story. He said he was going with another guy in the psych ward, and they were going to break out. Right, so that night they break out, and they have to get like out the window and over the fence. So they have like a rope, but the rope breaks, and the one insane person says, "Well, hold on, why don't you just hold this light over, and I'll walk on the light over the fence, and then you can go, and I'll hold the light for you." And he says, "What do you think? I'm fucking crazy? You're just going to turn the light off when I'm halfway through." It's really stupid, but I'm right. Okay, we'll try to keep this one short. I don't want any long rants. What is one conspiracy that you all 100% believe in?
I mean, mostly, I'm pretty sure like the CIA came up with the term conspiracy theory in like the 60s or some shit.
I've heard that one.
Because they're like, oh fuck, people are like starting to catch on. So then they just came up with the term conspiracy theory to like throw you off and like discredit those people. It's like, oh, these people are spouting some outlandish things. It's like, oh, well, that's pretty true. Yeah. Also,
I just recently heard
the JFK assassination is pretty insane. Yeah. If you ever looked into that one, I'm pretty sure the CIA.
Yeah, I think so too. There's one of them was kind of, I wouldn't even call it a conspiracy theory anymore because they kind of proved it, but like Charles Manson, you ever hear this one? Charles Manson was like a CIA asset. It's like pretty cut dry at this point.
Dude, so was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. They both went to the same guy. It was the same guy, Jolly West or something like that.
Like Lee Harvey Oswald like worked for the CIA as like a undercover like Russian person. They sent him to Russia for like 7 years. Then he like comes back and like 4 months later he like kills the president or some shit.
Yeah, the Ultra.
MK Ultra. Yeah.
Oh, that's just real.
Yeah, no, that's
just. They're saying that's what like Manson.
Yeah, that's what they like.
Like they did it to him, and then he kind of also did it to other people.
That's what Stranger Things is based on. Like
LSD.
Yeah, they'd like give these guys like 100 doses of LSD, stick them in like a dark room, and they try to see if they could like astral project into like Russia. I'm pretty sure to like see if they could like spy on them.
Yeah,
but like so like I don't think anyone ever astral projected, but I do believe that the CIA dosed these people with 100 like hits of LSD.
Yeah, that's not even a conspiracy.
No, that's real.
Yeah. But the whole Manson thing, it was, and he was arrested so many times, and they just get let go on suspicious things. Big Joe.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like I feel like I've had some. I can't.
There's Earth is flat, dog.
Maybe, yeah.
I will say one too.
To the other side.
I think the Trump assassination attempt is obviously the info is not allowed, but the odds of that being another government asset, or maybe not even government, but like
Trump set it up or something.
No, I think I don't think Trump said it. That'd be insane. That's
the power move. That's the power move because that picture. Everyone was posting that picture and they were like, "Okay, Trump already."
Oh
yeah.
I texted Richie. I'm like, that picture is just gonna rickroll him into the White House.
So if he set that up, That's
Yeah,
a
but
fucking
no,
power move.
I mean, it's just like so like that would just be like so insane. But like I know some people are thinking that, but no, I think
because they were saying his ear wasn't actually injured.
yeah, but I think that the idea that like this was just like some like mentally ill teenager who just decided that he was gonna go do this is like I don't know. Obviously, it's,
Yeah,
I
it was
don't
not
want to go too hard on it, but
No.
it seems fishy.
Like how he got the rifle and stuff, wasn't that like super suspicious? And
They scrubbed his like his house was like professionally scrubbed of like all evidence, and he was in a BlackRock commercial, which is kind of insane.
what?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
he was like a what do you call it? An extra in a BlackRock commercial. I don't know. There's just like a lot
That was probably a coincidence. Like
Maybe.
like he's in like half a second of a BlackRock commercial. It's like, oh, he's government ass.
No, I know. Yeah, right. That's it. It's all just like stuff that's like.
He just wanted to be an egg.
But like I don't know. That whole situation just still seems like so like odd. Just like the Secret Service coming out. Oh, we didn't put anyone there because it was a sloped roof. It's like what. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would say-
What shit doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part about I guess I didn't read too much on the follow up too. I just remember at the time watching the video and it's like they have the counter sniper on the roof. He sees
He's
the
like,
other
look,
guy.
look at
He's looking at him. He
Yeah.
doesn't shoot. He like doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
And then after the guy shoots, the counter sniper like takes it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see it all like timed in the video.
Yeah,
That was crazy. So I
seems a little silly.
He was talking to his partner. He said, "Well, let's just see what he does."
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe.
Well, I think he just did it,
man.
Does he have a gun? Like I don't know. It's either a gun or a telescope. I can't tell.
I don't know. Maybe they were
Just
like,
see what
oh,
happens.
maybe that's another like Secret Service guy. Like maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure they know where they're all at, and yeah, he's probably where
You think, but apparently you can just like climb a roof like 100 yards away
Yeah.
from the
which is also suspicious.
Like,
Yeah.
that's-
Who the fuck let him up there?
call it. It's not like 100 like it's like a joint like Secret Service and like the local and like
Yeah, right. So
like,
there might not be like perfect communication and everything. Yeah.
So do you got one of your own, or
no.
Let's move on.
how do you guys feel about Zuck's new look?
I like it.
Do you like it?
What's his new look?
He's cool.
He looks like a fuckboy now.
No, he's cool. Oh,
Yeah, he's
I thought
cool.
it was cool.
I mean, he looks like a normal person now.
Yeah, he went.
You like
he
grew his
hair
hair
now.
out.
He's got like he's
He's
got,
wearing like a chain,
the
and,
gold
like-
chains.
I'll speak on that a little bit. I saw something. It's like these tech guys, the last like 5-10 years, they tried looking like like the Steve Jobs, right? It's like I just wear like a turtleneck and some jeans and sneakers, right? It's like I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man sort of deal, right? Now they're dressing like oligarchs. Now they're like Zuck goes on a fucking posts something about being a bastion of free speech. He's wearing like a fucking $1 million piece, right?
Yeah.
Like you see, like Musk, he like literally looks like the fucking Terminator now.
Yeah,
You look at him in like the '90s. He's like I also want to sell books.
Dude, he's
like,
he's bald. Somehow this guy's hair grew back. He was like bald at age like 25, at age 50, whatever. Elon. He was bald at age like 30, and now he's like 53. He's got a full head of hair again. So
He's got on that Urlacher shit.
yeah, right. But like, he just like so he looks way different now. Same with Bezos, kind of.
He probably got rich and started getting pussy, and he was like, "Hold on, I should probably clean up my look a little."
I mean, he's got 14 kids now. So
Yeah, that's insane.
although I think most of them were IVF.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think like 10 of them were.
So he just wanted this?
Yeah, he's not even.
Oh, what the fuck?
He's
This guy's trying to be.
these are on all intentions.
Trying to be Genghis Khan.
yeah, it's some eugenic shit or something. It's like he like does it to like make sure he only has boys and like shit like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Patching.
Kind of a
That's-
kind of a fuck.
They don't want boys. I thought they don't want someone challenge them for their empire.
Yeah, I mean he's
Maybe that's just a few hundred years ago.
I mean, imagine when Elon dies, he's gonna have like 25 kids all fighting over the. Might be some Game of Thrones.
Yeah, when they would like kill like a king or like someone important back in the day, they'd also kill all their sons.
Yeah.
Even if they were little kids.
I mean, you gotta clear out the line of succession for yourself.
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen do.
Yeah. Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when she
leave
kills
one
Shorty,
alive.
well, she kills Shorty, and then like her little daughter's there, and she's like, look, I didn't want you to see all that, but when you're
When you grow up, come back and find
yeah,
me.
when you're grown up and you still feel some type of way about this, you come back and find me, and we'll settle it. It's the respect. It's like, hey, I got you. You can try and come and get me back. Yeah, I saw like a whole video about Zach's new look being super suspicious and like something about like, oh, he's trying to seem like a normal human. Something not like it's like a conspiracy.
He's such a
but,
calculated guy that it's
Zuck's tried to look like a human for years and it doesn't really work.
it was like
so calculated that you gotta think that there's something, like a lot of I've seen him in interviews and stuff, and like on Joe Rogan and stuff, where it's like a lot of the things he says, like he's saying for like a reason that's not very obvious at first. Like he's kind of like he's a calculated guy. Like he'll it's very strange that this guy he didn't like really publicly come out in support of, but he kind of swung the way of Obama, and then swung Trump's way, and then swung Biden's way, and then swung back to Trump. And it's like, what?
He's just a chameleon.
Dude,
Like,
he's a chameleon.
like I don't think he really cares about like who's in power.
No.
He just cares about like his own little empire.
well, he can see the data too of his websites.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like,
That's
oh,
yeah.
who
Who's gonna win?
Yeah.
You don't know who's gonna win before.
or even
Right.
just like how will people like who's the most
Yeah.
liked right now?
Yeah, realistically, yeah, he does have like the combined brains. He has like a transcript of like the combined discourse of every person on the internet,
Yeah,
like
like
at his
people,
fingertips.
yeah. Okay, next thing. I think Dick is the only one who is really good at this. I haven't heard anyone else's, but I just wanted to throw out because we were talking about Trump a lot. If you could run a little Trump impression.
No, I can't do a Trump impression. I can't. I've lost my.
You lost it?
I lost it in those 4
It's gonna
down.
be huge.
Might get back. I might get it back.
Great deal. No one's ever seen a better deal than this. We have all the best people. I hired some great people. Joe Biden cannot hire any great people. We're in great trade wars. The best trade wars.
Sometimes when I'm drunk, I start accidentally doing it, like not even on purpose. I'll just
You do the hands
I'll
too.
start talking, and then like next thing I know, someone's like, "Are you doing a Trump impression?" I'm like, "I don't mean to do it."
Big Joe, you want to try it out?
No, I can't. I think I was about to give one word, and it was not gonna work. It was not gonna work.
I saw a pretty interesting one. I think I might have texted you this, but Trump's vernacular has like been the most influential of like any president ever. So like some of the ridiculous things that he says, right? Like make blank great again. How many how many people have ripped that off and use that as a phrase now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like build the wall. People were saying shit like that.
sad. SAD exclamation
That was a
point.
great one. He hasn't done that.
Ad was never used as an exclamatory like sentence before. Trump like invented sad.
That, yeah.
Like he
I
literally
used to use
invented
that all the time.
What did it stand for? I don't even know.
No, it's like crooked Joe Biden.
Again, complained about my politics, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's quite a loser, if you ask me. Sad.
Yeah. Like, and there's a lot. I can't think of other ones, but I just watched this video. This guy's like, he has actually like influenced like our speech more than like any other president ever has.
Yeah, and
Maybe that's a part of like social media, but I think it's just his
No,
insane.
like,
I think it's just his insane way of talking.
Yeah.
I watched a whole breakdown of like his speeches and shit, and like that's a big reason why he won, because he goes with like an informal.
Apparently, he has like a 8th grade vocab. Have you guys seen that?
Well, that makes sense.
Probably appeals to more, like more people feel they can relate to this.
he
Speaks like them,
Yeah. Well, he also talks to people like he's talking to a buddy.
Yeah, he talks to everyone like something.
Obama, very calculated. I'm giving a speech, and I'm giving a speech. And Trump is fucking. We're gonna be the best.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the best. I love all of you. I love my way. Fucking.
Yeah.
He's
just like.
Did you guys see the video?
Fro.
Yeah. He'll be like he'll be doing the weave,
He's just kind of winging it.
He's
Most of
winging
the time, it seems like, and people are like, you know what, I kind of fucking like this guy.
Yeah.
You guys see that video? I think it's Jimmy Carter's funeral. It's like Obama and Trump like talking.
Yeah, I did.
They're like yakking it up like they're like best friends. Like
Yeah, I mean that does kind of go to show too that they're all like at the end of the day, yeah, Barack Obama saying like, oh yeah, this guy's literally Hitler, and then like a couple weeks later they're like, hey, yeah,
It's like they're all getting together and they're fucking actions and banging each other or whatever Davy's doing. Yeah, I saw something about like some guy was like, I was looking into Hitler and I was like, how did you guys let this guy get into such big power? And everyone says, oh, he was such a great speaker. And he was like, oh, so I looked up one of his speeches and he just go, yeah, right? I'm like, he's just screaming at me the whole time. I wouldn't think this guy's a good speaker. I would feel scared.
Hey, playing to fear. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
All right, I think that'll wrap up this discussion here.
What
Joe, what did
ChatGPT
coming out?
Yeah, what ChatGPT got? ChatGPT thinks the first female U.S. president will be 2032 or 2036.
Hillary. Hillary's back.
Gotta hop on Bovada and place those bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, boys. I think this was a good discussion.
All right, we'll wrap it up.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you listening. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, boys. Might have to cut the last like 4
Yeah.
minutes there.
Yeah, that trivia. Whose idea was that? Smart. That was pretty good.
That was fun, but